June is now less than a week away, and therefore I think it's fine time for some Nintendo Direct predictions. What's going on, guys and girls? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below what your number one Nintendo Direct June 2024 prediction is. I'm going to give you my list right now, and then we'll see when the Direct's announced and what details they give us, what Puro says, and update as needed. But right now, Donkey Kong. A new Donkey Kong game is announced at the next Nintendo Direct, this one for Switch, this one coming later this holiday season. I think it's going to be a 2D game. I know there's been a lot of expectation and maybe a split fan base on whether we want 2D or 3D, and while 3D does sound exciting, especially after what Nintendo did with Zelda, Mario, and Kirby in 3D, I think Nintendo is going to stay tried and true with this Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country and the Tropical Freeze did fantastic. Well, it was fantastic. I don't know how fantastic it did, but I think now with the Switch audience, maybe they are primed to have a bigger Donkey Kong debut. And ultimately, even though I think a 3D game would be more successful, I feel like Nintendo has teams tied up in other 3D projects, hint hint SP Red, hint hint Mario, and therefore this Donkey Kong project might just be 2D. In fact, the next Kirby game may also be 3D, so maybe Nintendo does want to balance things out. If Kirby is going to cross over that threshold for a while, Donkey Kong probably stays back. I think this ends up being the November release for Nintendo Switch. Well, one of two November releases. And let's just get the second one out of the way. Mario Party. I don't know what they call this thing. Maybe it's just Super Mario Party 2. But more than likely, it's going to have a unique name. I feel like Nintendo has not liked the numbers lately. And since we have Superstars coming after Super Mario Party, it might seem weird to get Super Mario Party 2. So it'll have some unique name, but basically in function and form, it's going to be Super Mario Party 2. Therefore, it'll have a unique cast of characters. It might even include some non-Mushroom Kingdom characters for the first time, which would be insanely awesome. And it will have the unique dice block effects that we had in Super Mario Party. But this time around, it will be playable in tabletop handheld mode, all that stuff. Switch Lights can play it, and it will be a big online hit for November. That might make you wonder, where is Metroid Prime 4? But yes, I do think Metroid Prime 4 is going to show up at this Direct. That's the October game in my prediction, as I think Nintendo knows Metroid Prime isn't maybe necessarily the biggest seller. They also could shift this thing to December, and I think that would work as well if they need a little more time or they want to close the year out with a bang. But Metroid Prime 4 will be sort of their hardcore big game. It'll be their graphical showpiece, and it will be our first look at a cross-gen Switch 2 game. Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. Like, I think they're going to have a full-on cartridge release for Switch 2, Metroid Prime 4, at launch, because it's that big of a game and it can be that big of a visual spectacle for that new system and to see what it can do. They'll have a huge segment of Metroid Prime 4. Will it be the one more thing? Probably, because I don't know that Nintendo has some huge tease. I don't think they do a console tease here. I don't think they do a 3D Mario tease here. I don't think they do a Zelda tease here, even though I would love for that Zelda rumor to be true. I'll mention it right here, which is that there is a rumor from Papagenos about a Zelda-centric Zelda game, with Princess Zelda being the main character. A lot of people assume it's a new Hyrule Warriors, but I'm of the mindset that maybe it is instead a 2D Zelda. But I don't know that Nintendo can fit it in this year, especially if they go DK, Mario Party, and Metroid Prime as sort of their holiday trifecta. Therefore, I think this 2D Zelda is probably next year, and maybe even a launch window game for Switch 2. Yes, it's probably not a crazy graphical showpiece, but having Zelda at the start of the Switch 2's life cycle is impressive. Even if it's not Breath of the Wild or TOTK, it's not time for that. We're not due, but we are surely due for a 2D Zelda. I'm just going to say it does not pop up here. I'm also going to say Hollow Knight does not pop up here, even though we've been waiting what feels like eons, and quite literally 6 years. So Hollow Knight Silksong is going to come out this year, but it's going to be shown off at the Xbox showcase. That's my prediction. Therefore, we probably already know about its release date before Nintendo has their presentation. So maybe, in fact, Hollow Knight Silksong does show up in sort of a sizzle reel to inform you that, yes, it's also coming to Switch. But I don't think the big reveal or the big moment is Hollow Knight Silksong at the Direct. Maybe Nintendo omits it, maybe they include it, but it's not going to be a focal piece, as I think by the Direct we'll already know the plans for Hollow Knight's long-awaited return. Now, Pokemon, is that going to return in 2024? I say yes. I know people don't believe in a Pokemon game given that Legends ZA is coming out early next year. We have no peeps about a black and white remake, so I'm going to go crazy here. This is my SwitchForce specialty prediction, and say we get Pokken Tournament 2 on Switch later this fall. A big multiplayer push for Nintendo, bringing in Mario Party, bringing in Pokken Tournament to balance out with Metroid Prime as sort of the single player offering and Donkey Kong as the single player offering. I think that Pokken Tournament can be pretty successful, especially with 140 million install base, especially with no other Pokemon title this year. Maybe that also comes out in October, maybe that comes out in December, but as we wait for the next big line of Pokemon games in the Legends series, in the mainline series, maybe even in the remake and Let's Go series, Pokken Tournament seems like a great way to get Pokemon exposure and make sure that we have another multiplayer game. I think multiplayer is a huge push for Nintendo the second half of the year, because the first half has been very much Mario vs. DK, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, Luigi's Mansion 2, Endless Ocean is multiplayer, but I don't think that game sold very well at all. And therefore, I think Nintendo is going to want to get some multiplayer out there. And I'm going to say Mario Baseball and Mario Sports are not a thing. Instead, it's Mario Party and Pokken Tournament. Now that just about fills out the calendar, because we're talking about 4, 5, 6 new first-party games. The last one I do think is a Fire Emblem title. We've heard a lot of rumors about that, so I will hop on board that ship. And I do think a Fire Emblem remake of some sort does make it out this year. So that probably puts us as like a Fire Emblem remake in August, because remember, we have Nintendo World Championships in July. Fire Emblem remake in August. Then we could go... Ooh, is there room for a September game? Because October then would be, let's say, Metroid Prime 4, November is Party and Donkey Kong, and December is Pokken Tournament. That does give us room for one more. So let me throw something else out there, because I feel like the 2D Zelda is probably saved for 2025. Let's give them one of them. Wind Waker or Twilight Princess hits in September. Wind Waker is what I'm going to lean towards. I don't think it's a double pack, at least not at first blush. And maybe Nintendo could also do some like GameCube remaster drops, Prime 2, Prime 3. Maybe they do drop both Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, but let's just peg in Wind Waker for September as a Zelda flair for this year. I do think those games eventually come out, even though it's exciting to think maybe they don't, and maybe we have a new Zelda. That's expecting a lot from Nintendo. Expecting like 5 new games from Nintendo in the second half of 2024. After the first half was filled with remakes, I think we're going to have more remakes in our future, more remasters, and Fire Emblem would be 1, and Wind Waker would be 2. So that takes care of the first-party side of things. On the third-party side of things, I'm guessing most companies are going to wait for the next console. I think one of the big ones could be Doom: The Dark Ages, which is heavily leaked to be revealed at the Microsoft Showcase, and then also popping out on PS5 day one, and I assume this fall. Therefore, could Doom also hit Nintendo Switch this year? If it comes out this year and it does support like PS4 and Xbox One, then yeah, okay, it will probably also come out on Switch. But if it is going to be releasing in early 2025, then no, it comes out on Switch too. I think we'll probably still get some third-party ports. I mean, Biomutant just came out and apparently sold 20 times better than they expected. So let's see what we get on the third-party train. I don't think it'll be anything momentous, anything new. I feel like we have most of the collections we've dreamed of and wanted. Like a Dead Space collection would be nice, but that franchise apparently didn't sell very well with its new remake, and therefore they kind of canned plans for a Dead Space 2 remake. I don't think anything major from this fall makes it, like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Nope, that's not coming out. It's still a year too early for Call of Duty, so Black Ops 6 will not be on Switch. I don't know that there's any major title. It would be sweet if we got some fun ports that we're not expecting, but I don't know if those really show up too much at the Direct, especially with rumors that there will be a partner showcase in September, and that would hit on the highlights for the holiday season from third parties. From the indie space, something will stealth drop. There'll be something cool and fun. Nintendo has really been up and up with the biggest, best indies, getting Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, getting Animal Well. Could we get something like Cryptmaster that recently released and was pretty popular? Hollow Knight, I guess, could fill that slot if it does get revealed first at the Microsoft Xbox Showcase, but it's hard to predict indie games when Nintendo seems to get just about everything. Maybe Plucky Squire will stealth drop at the June Direct. That would be a very nice one and something we've been anticipating. Maybe they'll announce Inscription 2. That would be a huge hit, although I know that team is working on Pony Island too, so probably not yet. But I do think this is going to be a banger direct with an emphasis on Nintendo first party, something that we've all been clamoring for. I feel like too many directs end up being really focused on third parties. Like, they do give you the Nintendo beats, but not all at once. And maybe this is the first time in a bit that we get a Nintendo crazy direct, because they have to reveal the full slate for the second half of 2024. I don't think they dip into the future of 2025. I don't think we see a Switch 2 preview. I don't think we see any of those teases, but I'll keep my ears and eyes open for any leaks and rumors that come out of reputable sources like Puro and Midori. Nate the Hate, we'll have to wait and see what they say, but right now I think you're looking at a loaded direct. Metroid Prime, Mario Party, Donkey Kong Country. That seems like the trifecta that will carry the weight of the show, and then everything else is just gravy. And remember, Metroid Prime 4 has been rumored for a long time. It seems like all signs are pointing towards release finally this year. Mario Party is heavily tied to that codename Banquet rumor from Midori. And then Donkey Kong has been in the rumor mill for a long time. We know that the theme park is opening later this fall in Japan and next summer in Orlando. So DK, you got to get out there soon. Wrap up those banana sales while you can. In the meantime, let me know what you're most excited for and hope to see in the June Direct in the comments down below. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.